And a good morning to you. Merry Christmas. It feels like Christmas, but it won't feel like it on Christmas Day. High of 67. Welcome to North Carolina Christmas. Don't even start. It don't even make me happy. Do have a little rain maybe coming in this afternoon. We could use a little bit. Not a whole lot of rain, but just a slight chance of some rain. But glad to have you along with us this morning on a Tuesday morning. I'll give you the schedule for the rest of the week. As far as I know, be here through Friday. Next week, I am gone. I am out of town and take a little real vacation. I've been on vacation for a little while now, but yesterday I spent 6 hours on the road on my vacation for my job. The only thing that made it my vacation is I was in shorts and a sweatshirt.
You're trying to be Yogi Bear this morning. Yeah.
Breathe through it. Did you get a chance to watch the 5 o'clock game yesterday?
I did not.
Browns and Raiders was an absolute fantastic game.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Fantastic game. Came down, final field goal for the win. He hits it through. Browns called a timeout. Got to do it again. The second time, he freaking nailed the middle of it. The first one, just inside the right upright. The second one, that baby had 15, 20 more yards and right in the heart in Cleveland to put Cleveland down. It was really good game. Really good game.
Everybody in that league is trying to find a way for the Steelers to make the playoffs.
I guess.
Nobody
wants to.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like,
it tightened up last night, and there's another doubleheader on tonight. Now, I saw a little bit of the second game, but I didn't see a lot of it. That's getting past my bedtime. That's all I'll say. But it was Minnesota over Chicago. Minnesota played well, I thought, last night. Of course, Mike Zimmer's playing for his job. If he starts losing again, they're probably going to do something different.
Yeah.
But Derek Carr in that first game had 236 yards passing. Nick Chubb, 61 rushing for the Browns. It was 16-14. It was 14-13. 3 seconds left to go for the field goal, and it was because Derek Carr had drove him down the field close enough for a field goal attempt. But a great game, great finish. I could take NFL football every evening at 5. That would make my day if I could watch an NFL game at 5 o'clock. That was real. Now, I don't go to the NFL Network and watch something I haven't seen.
I know what you mean.
I don't watch recorded sports.
Well, your other option is if they won't do that here on the East Coast, you can always move to California and get it at 5.
That's true. I can do that.
So
yeah. My wife ain't moving. My wife isn't moving to California, and I'm not moving anywhere where the ground shakes under my feet.
And move to California.
I haven't been to California. Would like to visit, but I think a week, kind of like I did and the only reason I say a week is because the flight is so long. New York, we did about 3 or 4 days. I think I'd have to do a week. We went to Vegas. It was a week. But you kind of got to get your body used to that to go. You can't quite go to the West Coast for a couple of days. You're kind of miserable. I don't see how the athletes do it, but they do. Let's see. Juju. There you go. Listen to Juju. Go Steelers. I hope the game at Kansas City this week is not there at Waterloo.
Oh.
Juju not only drinks the Kool-Aid, he makes the Kool-Aid, just in case you're wondering, over Big Ben. He was in here yesterday. We went and got some breakfast afterwards at Hen and Egg, and hello to Hen and Egg. They're a T-shirt customer of mine. I did about 70 T-shirts for them, and those girls were so excited when they got their new T-shirts yesterday.
It's a fantastic place to eat breakfast.
It is. So we went up there yesterday, and, of course, I'll probably catch Brookwood the rest of the week, but Brookwood's closed on Monday, so I still have to have breakfast. I don't know, Juju. I just don't know about the Steelers. The Steelers, to me, are going to be like the Charlotte Hornets in the NBA. They may make the playoffs, but that's it. They're not doing anything. They don't, I guess it was Carson Palmer yesterday, maybe I was listening to on one of the shows, and he was talking about the Steelers did what they did Sunday because of coaching and organization, because they're not good. They don't have just a couple of pieces on each side of the ball. They're not a very good football team, but because they believe in Mike Tomlin, as far as the players are concerned, and the way the organization knows that they're not going to give up on them, that's kind of what carries the Steelers through. Now, I've said before, not a huge Tomlin fan. I mean, he's been there for 15 seasons, 15, 16 years, never had a losing season, but one Super Bowl in 15 years?
Yeah,
kind of like
mediocrity.
John Harbaugh.
Yeah, a lot
Richie.
of people say, he's had winning seasons and all that. The goal to have a winning season, or is it to be the Super Bowl champion?
There are certain places.
I'm just asking.
Okay, certain places that is okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's certain places I don't want to be either.
We talked about we talked about like Appalachian. If they can do 10-2, win a bowl game, win the conference championship, because they're mid-major, they can't go any further.
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
But if you're in a position to where you have a genuine opportunity, like the NFL, all 32 teams should have an opportunity. They're a member of that league.
Yeah.
And if you're not competing for that, Juju says all the teams in the AFC North are flawed, making one last push for the playoffs for Ben. I told you, he makes the Kool-Aid. He brings the jug. He brings the pitcher.
I think the other way to look at it too is that some of the players for the Steelers, just like any organization, are playing because all they've heard about is how they're not very good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're playing for their jobs, not so much for their coach. I think they're playing for, which they should. They should go out there and play, for the love of the game, but they also have a job to do. And they've not been doing that. And when you accept mediocrity and start making excuses for it, then that's when you're done.
Let me ask you this question.
I mean, that's when you're done.
Let me ask you this question, because this is one of those things that bothers me immensely. When I see, let's go high school to start with. When I see a 1A, 2A, maybe a 3A that really gets hurt by injuries and can't make a push, I get it because of the numbers.
It's uncontrollable,
4A, I don't get it as much because I've seen the numbers that are on the sidelines.
Well, I do get it because I played 4A football, okay, and I've coached 1A, 2A, and 3A. So I've got experience with all classifications in high school, in football, basketball, and baseball, okay, and then other sports that either I've been the AD of or, observed, that I didn't play, but I try to understand. You really don't understand something unless you experience it.
That's correct.
I would never – I could probably be a good soccer coach, but I wouldn't fully understand the game, okay? And I probably wouldn't go do that, but if I did – I'm just giving an example.
I don't even make a good soccer fan.
Yeah, but the point is, it depends on what level. I've seen more 1A teams and 2A teams have more on the sidelines than some 4A teams. And to your point, in your larger – areas, Charlotte's, Wilmington's, Raleigh's, you've got 60, 70, 80 kids, 100, whatever. But, when it used to be, like when we played McDowell when I was in high school, they were 4A. We were 4A at East Burke, Freedom, the old Northwestern 4A, Watauga, all that. McDowell, I remember one year had 21 players, and they finished tied for first in the league in a 4A school and went to the second or third round of the playoffs. But to your point, in your larger places, there's really no excuse for not being, too deep. There's not.
I guess the point that I'm making is it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Okay? In the NFL, it bothers me that teams get ravaged by injury. Is there just not that many players that can play on that level, or do they hold on to players too long after they start getting banged up? What is it? It just blows my mind that there's so many injuries in the NFL that there's not enough players to go around. When you look at the number of players coming out of college at major places, I mean, nobody can tell me that Wisconsin and Michigan and Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia – don't produce fat boys up front offensively.
Contracts.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I agree 100%.
But it hurts the game so bad.
It kills it. Well, again, when you have, things like the Players Association, all that, it's good to have representation. But at some point, the cream's not allowed to rise because of contracts.
20% of the players make 80% of the money.
Well, and people want to talk. Don't even get me started. Oh, God.
Breathe through it.
I'm not going to go there. But to answer your question, you can't. When there's not when there's not opportunity, when opportunity stalled because of agreements or contracts or assumptions, you know, it's like McCaffrey, right? We all agree that he's a great player and he's an all-pro if he plays enough, right?
The biggest attribute to any player in the NFL is availability.
Well, that goes all the way down to youth league.
Yeah.
He's the best running back in the league, or he's the best lineman. Yeah, but he didn't play.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be, but you know, and that's great. But you know, they got to be out there in order to, you know, and that is part of. My point is that is part of football. That's the nature of the beast. And then when it goes to the NFL, there may be a reason they don't want to bring in another running back, because what's going to happen is if your all-pro running back gets hurt and you bring in this young kid that ends up being better than your all-pro, you're sitting there paying all this money to a guy that's not going to produce as much as the kid that came in, and then it's likely you can't afford the kid that came in, so he's going to go to a team in your division and beat you. You got to be very selective on who you bring up and who you play.
I guess this is what I'm saying, and I don't. This is just from the little bit I know from the top end of the NBA, okay? The top end big-name players do really short contracts.
Yeah.
They want to go play this year to win, and if it don't work out, I'm going somewhere else to win. What if the NFL did that? I don't like the long-term contracts the NFL's doing, and I don't like it because, well, we got to pay him because he's next man up.
But the longer-term contracts are obviously larger money deals, right? Who makes the money? The player or the agent?
Well, the agent's in it for his cut.
Right. He's representing that player. That's his or her job.
That's correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's why you have longer-term contracts, because you got somebody going to the negotiating table. You know, you watch The Last Dance. You know, Reinsdorf told Scottie Pippen, said, really think you need to take a one-year contract. And Scotty's like, no, I got too many people to take care of. I've got to do it now. Cost him hundreds of millions of dollars because NFL exploded 2 years later.
But that's what I'm saying.
But there's different reasons why players do that. There's huge responsibilities that a lot of times we look at as them being an individual instead of them being the caretaker. They have to do certain things.
The only comment I'm going to make about that is they made those decisions. And I understand taking care of, but if you're making $40 million and it's not enough to go around.
Well, 40 goes to 20, okay?
I know, but, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Then 20, all right, divvied out. You know, $1 million in today's world does not last very long.
I know.
You know, you say, oh, that's $1 million. No, you can't. No, you can't. Not in a low interest rate environment. I'm sorry, you're earning $5,000 a year if you keep it in the bank, or $4,500 a year. Mm-hmm. It's awful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and most people are not going to invest for the long term and try to pull 4 to 5%. You know, of some degree. They're going right now. So what happens? It's a lot. It's a lot of.
I'm just bothered because, and I bring that up to go back, Juju's point, the AFC North, the division of mediocrity, 8-6, 8-6, 7-6, 7-7. Okay, and you got parity. I get it, but it sucked parity because there's nobody on the field, you know. And I know this week some of it was over COVID issues and that kind of thing.
Well,
but still, you know, I like parity, but not at the expense of mediocrity.
And you're right. And there's very few teams with over 8 wins.
Yeah.
And we're at week what? 4.
Going into week 16.
Yeah. So week 16, but how many games? 15? 14?
Yeah. We played 14 and 15.
I mean, come on. Brutal.
I just, it just.
How bad were the Cardinals this weekend? They were pretty bad.
Yeah. And the whole thing behind the Cardinals, like a lot of others, it's about one or two players. For example, Kyler Murray's great as long as he's got Hopkins out there that he can throw to. When he doesn't have Hopkins, he's not as great. When you look at the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Bradys, they made receivers.
Aaron Rodgers.
They didn't take. I just don't like him. I'm sorry.
I know, but he is hands down.
I know.
There is nobody better than he is right now.
I know. But I'm just
speaking
saying.
of bad, how bad was Tampa Bay? My son lost his mind.
Is he a Tampa Bay guy?
Oh, he's a Tom Brady guy.
Tommy. I like Tommy better than I did.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy was not happy.
No, and he was walking around. I said, I mean, he gets into it. Like, he screams at the TV.
Tom is 1-4 against New Orleans. Lifetime. 1-4. And most people said he probably shouldn't have won that one.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Probably shouldn't have won that one.
Very true. I wonder if Belichick, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm wondering if he was glad that Indianapolis won that game.
Why?
Look at the playoff. I mean, look at the.
Oh, I know.
Look at divisions.
Yeah.
I think he'd rather play them in the playoffs than.
Look,
a couple other teams.
He is.
I'm not saying he threw a game. I'm saying I'm wondering if he's glad. It's interesting. It's just I don't know just how people think.
I can remember playing in softball when Addison was playing in like 10, 11, 12 when they had this was rec.
Yep.
When they had pitch count and that kind or innings, whatever it was.
Oh yeah. Innings.
And we were in a tournament, and we didn't try to lose. We played some players that would put us in the losers bracket so that we could manage those innings better than trying to fight. You know what I'm saying?
You're playing to win a championship, not a game.
That's right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah. No, I get it. I understand that.
You look at it and you look at your path and you start counting things up and do the analytical side of it. Let me take a break. We'll be back in a minute.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Good morning. Crisp and cool. 32 degrees what I'm showing right now. I got to park in the garage last night, so I didn't have to scrape frost. That was really nice. Tim Smith, good seeing you last night. I think I saw later on Facebook your wife was having a night out at the Charlotte Symphony, and I think you had a grandson with you last night at Don's. We went to Don's, and I sat beside the door, and it was kind of cold, the door opening. Juju has a question for you. So what kind of player is East Surrey's offensive lineman number 52, Sam Whitt? 3-time All-State player verbally committed to LR yesterday, along with Hickory offensive lineman Jake Prince.
Yeah, if he was an inch taller, he'd be in SEC or ACC, Big Ten. They're getting a kid that's going to come in and probably play right away, or at least be right there when they need him.
Matt Eisenhower.
Sam Whitt is every bit he punishes people. He plays he plays like Matt. Gosh, we use Matt's name a lot, but it's true. He plays like Matt Eisenhower. I'd have to see more to be able to, truly, line him up. But he is that good, and I'm happy for LR. And I'm just glad I don't have to play against that kid again.
Boy, getting local kids is great.
God, man, he is so good. Sam Whitt's a great player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Richie said the Panthers had open tryouts for a kicker this past weekend.
Yeah.
Jeff Reed. They call Jeff Reed. Accountability, Bob says, the missing link of reasoning. Lindsay said, good morning. Looking for Rembert, all shined up. He comes in here dressed up sometimes, sis. Let's see.
If I know Lindsay's watching, I'm wearing a jacket.
Okay. With shorts underneath.
I will not stand up.
He was noticeably different on the field for sure, Andrew said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it was, like, he was not a dirty player. He played hard, he played clean, and he punished you. Mm-hmm. Whether he was pulling or whether he was doubling and going to a backer, his feet were good, his hands were good. He stayed low. Golly, man,
fundamentally sound football players are hard to come by.
We started moving our front we normally move our front left or right, defensively, right? So the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 games, 6 games, we had just gone to we were so big and strong up front that we were able to control the line of scrimmage without having to move, and because our backer play is pretty good. Our 2 inside guys and 2 outside guys are pretty good. And when we played East Surrey second half, I started moving the front again. Now, we held them scoreless in second, third quarter. But I'm telling you, Lane, that kid, that no lineman's really good too, but that kid's he's legit. He's solid.
You talk about your defensive line play. The hardest thing to get defensive linemen to understand, your job is not to make tackles. Your job is to disrupt and keep your linebackers clean.
Yeah, that's true.
So they can scrape and make plays.
And the thing about it, no, you're right. And the thing about it is, your defense lineman by default will end up making a lot of plays because the rules a lot of times with the linemen are down level 1. If nobody's there, go to level 2.
Mm-hmm.
When you're moving up front and stunting like we did, a lot of times those linemen will break free and nobody. I thought you had him, and that's when they're able to make their plays.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that you have to sell to kids is it's not about you making the tackle; it's about you doing your 1/11th. You are 1/11th of the defense. You are not the defense. And I think in a day of stats and things like that, where just the wow factor of every game. Look what I did. Look at this. That's the hardest thing. To be able to get them all to do. But I will tell you, when you have 11 people doing 1/11th of their job, you are very, very, very hard to move the football on.
Well, the thing of it is,
in the air or on the ground.
Well, there are no stats for fat boys, even defensive linemen, because what people are looking for, if you want to play at the next level, they're looking for you to do your job and play your responsibility. Because the other thing that says about that kid when they do that, that tells the next level coaches that is a coachable kid.
Yeah.
Because he's doing what he's taught to do, not what he wants to do.
Well, I mean, there was a kid that that I've coached in the past, and one that even I played with, and we all have, that had tremendous numbers, defensively, but did their job probably 50% of the time. Being involved in mop up or assist is not near as important, as occupying your area.
Yep.
I think when you're talking about playing at the next level, defensive linemen, you've got to be accountable. You need 2 offensive linemen to be able to block you. That's the goal, and then they need a back to be able to chip you. If you're and again, all pro TJ Watt, he's probably the best player in the NFL, but not everybody can be that. But you can be in that interior 3 guard, center, guard, and if you can cause 2 guys to have to account for you every play, that's disruption.
Yeah. And you see it in the NFL too.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm talking about.
I cannot remember, and it shouldn't bother me, but it bothers me when I see defensive linemen with 60 pounds hanging over.
Yeah.
But they're stumps.
Yeah.
I mean, they're massive.
Occupation.
They're thick. Yeah. They're strong, and you can't move them. And that's what they're looking for.
Well, think of defense kind of like your, anytime you watch, war, World War II or, any, think about it. Your trenches, your infantry, it's your front line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then behind it, you got the tanks shooting, and then you've got your air support coming in. Well, you look at that defensively, your front line is your infantry. The guys behind them are your tanks. And then your DBs are ones that can come in and drop bombs. Well, if you use that instead of laying back on defense and accepting punishment, or just managing, if you use your back line to go in and drop the bombs through blitzing and other things, you see what I'm saying? Then it creates it's warfare. You got to play it like that.
It's amazing. You talk about these stumps that play like nose or some of these positions. There were some years when I played and when I coached that our nose may have been one of the smaller guys on the team, but was so quick.
Yeah.
All we did was put him, you're going to hit a gap. We're going to line you head up, but then we're going to hit a gap one way or the other, and that was going to cause two players to take you.
You're right.
Because you're going to be inside that gap before they can move. Yeah. And so, I mean, there's different ways to do it, but what you're trying to accomplish is the same thing, the goal that you're trying to do.
Right.
And it's not about you getting in the backfield making a tackle.
No.
It's about disruption and occupying players, because then you outnumber the players on the other side.
No, it's true, and it's interesting. It's kind of like watching or just maybe watching a war movie where one of the guys up front is maybe not a real big guy, but he's really fast and he's really small. Mm-hmm. And he'll shoot and he'll run over here, and all of a sudden he'll sling a grenade. Those kind of things, right? Well, when you got that nose that's really, really quick, you back him off the ball a little bit, and now they don't know if he's going left or right.
Right.
So now three people got to count for one. And that's kind of the whole idea behind that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the way that it works. That's the way that it works.
Mm-hmm.
I heard yesterday, and I think this was on Rich Eisen. We were in a commercial break on Cowherd, and he was interviewing one of the reporters from the Tampa Bay paper. I think it was the Tampa Bay paper. It might have been the Jacksonville paper. Anyway, that broke the story about Urban Meyer when he got fired.
Right.
Urban Meyer's people called him and asked him to hold the story to 4 o'clock on the day that it was to be released. And then they were wanting him to interview unnamed players that could verify Urban's story.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole part behind it was Urban never denied kicking the player.
No, everybody saw him do it.
He was just trying to change the narrative
that
went along with it. So
right.
if why would a player that had been there for 5 years, why would he need to embellish that story? And then after all this came out, there were a lot of other players that in fear of their jobs didn't come forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how this story has evolved and how much went into it. And the one thing that I loved about this reporter and the paper that he worked for, he said, "We are not a source newspaper. We do not report on sources.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't put a name on it,
right,
and somebody will put their name on what has been said,
mm-hmm.
we don't run it."
Right.
And I'm thinking, what a breath of fresh air, because that's not, unnamed sources have said this. If you can't put your name on it, you can't put a whole lot of validity into it, to me.
The whole idea of the press anyway, regardless of, whether it's sports or, covering our, elected officials, the whole idea is to be able to, talk about the issues, the things that maybe aren't right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start talking about unnamed sources and things like that,
mm-hmm.
to me, press ought to lose its. I just
they're going for the wow factor.
Well, no, that without any validity. Then they're turning around saying, "Well, I'm sorry, I thought it was a good source."
Yeah.
No, it's like anything else. It's like somebody coming up saying, "Well, so and so said this." Well, who said it? Well, I can't tell you. Then don't talk to me about it.
No.
But we got it. No, I don't want to hear that.
If you can't put a name on it, then I don't want to hear.
I don't want to hear that crap.
No, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. But I just thought that was an interesting thing when they said it yesterday. Why I cannot get my computer to respond? There you go. I must be asleep. A couple bowl games went on yesterday. I'll give you some updates on that. The Myrtle Beach Bowl. That one was down at Coastal Carolina Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great stadium if you hadn't.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
Tulsa beat Old Dominion 30-17. It was tonight. There's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, which is up on Smurf turf. Kent State versus Wyoming. The Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl in Frisco, Texas. Texas San Antonio versus San Diego State. And then 2 NFL games tonight as well. Let me take another break. We come back. We'll wind it up here on the bottom line.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Glad to have you winding up here on a Tuesday morning. Everybody's commenting about how nice you're dressed. Do I need to go get my blazer? I mean, is that what it is? Yeah. Is it just a blazer? I mean, I've seen the news reporters do it. They just wear the tie and the blazer. Delano used to keep one hung on the back of his of his door. Yeah. Ain't like he wore it all the time. Yeah. It's my place. Don't
Man
care.
cave.
It's my place.
Man cave.
This is my place. Okay. Even though I make the payments on both of them, this one really is mine. This is my place.
You're not going to have a Merry Christmas if you don't stop.
I'm just saying this one's my place.
She's going to knock you out.
This is Lanny's man cave.
Hold on, back up.
This is Lanny's man cave. Be careful. Have a lovely day. Call me when you need money. That's what she did yesterday. Yeah. She's like my children. They pull up to a gas pump, then they call and say, Dad, can you move some money in my account? Yeah. No, sissy, he is actually dressed. He's going to work today. Now, I've got shorts on under the desk, which I always have shorts on.
Oh, God.
Richie said he had heard so many people talk about linebackers and do not understand that. They talk about the linebacker not making a play and get taken out by a lineman. They don't understand that is the point. The D lineman missed their assignment. Yeah. You do not let linebackers down on your linebacker. I mean, don't let the offensive lineman down on your linebackers. And then Rich said they want to get the story out, talking about about what media does before other people. That's why you see a coach hiring posted and then retracted when someone says it's not true. SI posted an article about Dan Lanning becoming the new coach of Oklahoma. Yeah. It was pulled back within a few minutes of being posted. I don't want to be first. I want to be right.
Yeah.
I mean, Milton, I'm not digging a hole.
Oh, it's a
hole's
deep,
already there. I don't know what
hole.
the problem is. I call it like I see them. It's just the way it is. Let's see. What else we got going on here today? I hadn't had a chance to ask you about the Panthers. The Panthers are terrible.
Yeah.
How would, if you could fix it, if they said, okay, we need for you to fix it, how would you fix it?
How would I fix it? Holy cow, man. It would take 2 to 3 years, but just to get it where it's functional again. But I go in and just rebuild completely. First thing I do, and a lot of people don't understand this, but I would trade McCaffrey.
Yes,
I would get as much as I could out of him. I think he's a great person. He's very kind to people. He's very good with the fans. But being a great player and being on the field have to go together. And it's not, you get hurt, I understand that. But productivity and sustainability and consistency are the things that I'll be looking for. And I know people say you can't help when people get hurt, but there's certain things that, Lanny, you can look at as a coach and as a former player and say, if he does too much of this, he's not going to be on the field very long. And that's one of
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The Panthers created that nightmare because they relied too much on him because it was all they had.
And your body can only take what it can take.
Exactly right.
I don't know if you were there, but when talking to Coach Rivera, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago when they first got McCaffrey. Were you at that event that night?
Mm-mm.
Well, I had about, I'd say not quite 2 minutes. Okay, where we had a chance to talk to him and just to ask him about him. And it was during when they just drafted him, right? And he was so excited about him because he said this kid's going to be a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said keeping him healthy is going to be the key. Because there's so many different things he can do that, returning the kicks, catching the ball, running the ball, even throwing it a little bit, And he was right. But he was very, very excited about what McCaffrey could do and how it was going to change the landscape of the Panthers. He was very excited about that.
As long as you don't overutilize that talent. That's what the Panthers did. They overutilized it.
Right.
And they did it because they didn't have anything else. It's like now they don't have – I'll give you another example. Would you bring a punter now? And we're talking NFL because you buy your players, you do whatever you want.
Right.
Would you bring a punter on that could not double as your field goal and kickoff guy in an emergency, and vice versa? Would you bring a place kicker in that couldn't punt a little bit because you've got a limited roster?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at my roster and what I was allowed to do. And
I mean, they've got 2 players there,
right.
but their punter can't
right.
do anything but
can't
punt because he came out of Australia.
And most of the punters are like that now. They used to double like you're talking about, but not anymore.
You can't burn 2 roster spots,
well,
or 3 for a backup.
I understand that. You're so limited with contracts and salary cap, things like that. What the first thing I would do, and people have talked, well, what if you go out and get a quarterback that's like a second-tier quarterback, like a Winston or somebody like that? Well, I would just go get Aaron Rodgers, because you got to start somewhere. You can't just be drafting and hopeful that somebody will work out. People are so excited about Zach Wilson, and I hope he does great. But I can't remember the guy. Who's the guy out at San Francisco everybody's so excited about? I can't remember his name.
Trey Young.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
Trey Young, Trey Lance.
No, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
I mean, I don't even know what. I mean, proven ineffectiveness in that position is much more important than having a chance to win 6 games in a season and only winning 4 of them losing 4 or 5 of them because of inexperience. The Steelers got lucky when they got Roethlisberger, right? Mm-hmm. They had everything around him. Mm-hmm. All he had to do was manage the football and take care of it. Mm-hmm. Well, everybody's trying to take that philosophy, and you can't do that when you don't surround that young player, with all those intangibles. You're asking them to provide the intangibles that have not yet been developed or that they really don't have. Mm-hmm. There's so many. Defensively, you could do it very quickly. Offensively, they got to start drafting linemen. They got to get an experienced quarterback in, because if you got a good line and you got an experienced quarterback, I don't care who's running the football. That's way overblown.
I'm not convinced that Sam Darnold can't play if he had a little help up front.
I don't think he's that good.
No, but he could be serviceable till they could build the lines. I'm saying.
No, and I get that, and they may have to go that route. But I never got excited when he was coming.
No,
it's kind of like Cleveland. The pieces just aren't right.
Yeah.
They're not going to get it done. You can talk about how great he is or how great this guy is or whatever. The pieces aren't right. The pieces of the puzzle have to fit. It doesn't matter how pretty they are. The pieces have to fit to complete the puzzle. This is not happening right now in those
Andrew is waxing philosophically. He says Ricky Bobby said, if you're not first, you're last.
Ricky Bobby's 100% right.
Jerry Seinfeld says, if you're second, you're the first loser.
That's what I say.
Okay. Richie says, rebuild with or without Rule. Without Rule. I don't think he's a guy that can build, because the Panthers are in such a hole. I don't think he's a guy that knows how to rebuild.
They need a head coach. They don't need an offensive coordinator. To blame that on Joe Brady is incredible.
The other thing they did, and Juju and I talked about this yesterday, when Rule came in, he should have brought in some long-time NFL veteran assistants to help him kind of go and figure out how this works. Juju said, do the Panthers try to sign free agent quarterback Jameis Winston or draft offensive lineman or draft a Kenny Pickett?
Offensive line, go get your quarterback through free agency, and I mean pay him, and pay a good one. Pay a good one, an experienced one.
They had a good serviceable quarterback, and they traded him away to Denver for nothing.
Yeah. Get a good one.
And that's not Jameis Winston.
And then start building continue to build on your defense. Just continue to build on it.
Milt said the disaster started with the Turners, Norv and Scott.
Yeah.
I got to agree with that to some extent. Yeah. You've got at the rate that this game is changing, you can't bring in coaches that were good 25 years ago, because it don't work that way now.
Ones that proven that they have not adjusted and adapted to the times as well, right? Mm-hmm. I think Norv Turner, with his mind, it was great for the scheme that he wanted to do. You just can't fit the square peg in the round hole, I guess, is the way to put that. Blaming Joe Brady's for the offensive woes is about like parking your car out in the middle of a parking lot in the middle of the summer and saying, well, it's hot in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, what in the heck really? They did that guy a favor.
Richie's right, and they need to start up front. Link said, how stupid was it to sign Cam, who is useless? They signed Cam for one reason, to keep season ticket holders from selling their tickets to the visiting team, because that was happening. That was huge, and it didn't work because Cam flamed out pretty quick. But that was the reason. That was a marketing thing. That had nothing to do with the Panthers trying to win. And, Milton, you're exactly right. With no offensive line, no quarterback will be successful.
That's
and they've
what I'm
never
getting at.
addressed
That's what I'm
that.
getting at.
Panthers never seem intentional when they make a decision. It always seems like they just look for a wow factor of a pick. There's a lot to that, Andrew. Keywan, good morning. Keywan, won't you tell him something good? It's not Monday, Keywan.
I love Keywan. He's great.
Not Monday.
He's a good dude, man. We have a good time. He's fun.
Tim said Panthers need to go after Russell Wilson and fire Rule.
I'm good with that. I completely agree with
There's
that.
going to be some quarterbacks with some experience.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Unless Ben gets another year. But that's what I'm talking about. That's my point. If you do that, if you go get Russell Wilson, number one, people don't sell their season tickets or don't, trade them for that game or whatever, sell them for that game, all right? They're going to come watch him. And he's got that leadership that you need in the locker room.
Yeah.
If you want to be what is it? What does they say? If you want to be happy for a month, buy a car. If you want to be happy for a day, what was it? Well, anyway, the point is have a long-term approach in what you're doing. You say, yeah, but Wilson can't keep playing a long time. Have a long-term approach in the way you build your team and start with drafting your offensive line and getting a very, very good, experienced quarterback in. All right, I don't mean just like a great dynamic playmaker, but I mean experienced veteran that's not going to do stupid things, okay, and is about building that franchise. Let them know what you want them to do. If you watch the movie Moneyball, it's what Billy Bean talked to David Justice about. David, I need your help. Your playing days of greatness are done, but you're still good enough to make a huge impact both on the field and in this locker room.
Understanding what your role is.
There's nothing wrong with that. We talked about coaches adapting over time. What about players?
Oh, I agree. No. But players
do your job.
Players struggle more than coaches with accepting that role of not being that star.
Because nobody's ever been honest with them.
Well, I guess.
Listen, if somebody's not doing something well, especially a kid, I'm not going to tell them, hey, you're doing a great job. I'm going to say, you know what, your effort looks to be pretty good, but your productivity is terrible right now, and these are the reasons why. Now, some people may say, oh, God, you told him it was terrible. What's it going to do? What it does is it breaks through all the all through the junk, okay, and it lets them know that you truly care about them. When you pander to athletes or to individuals by telling them what they want to hear, it tells them that you do not care about them.
Honesty is
when you're trying
tough,
to worry about their feelings.
But it has to be done.
Okay. Life's tough.
Yeah, right.
So people that are honest and have honest conversations and will actually listen to those that have experience, okay?
Oh, but you're old. You don't, what do you know? You're old.
Tend to do much better in facing adversity than I can't believe that happened. I know you can't believe it.
Yeah. Lindsay says she's all about Russell Wilson. Link says the NFL overall is not installing solid offensive linemen, and I agree with that, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Russell's a leader. He is. Juju says you play golf for a day and eat steak for an hour.
Yeah, there it is.
Bob said he'd be happy if the Panthers went after some good offensive linemen and ran the Wildcat every play. Richie
Bob
said
is like one of my favorite humans.
The Panthers are that team Pitt character talks about.
Yeah.
Here are the teams with the money. Here are the teams with not a lot of money.
Right.
Then 69 feet of crap. Then there's us. Yeah,
that's the
Juju said the guy that started for the Ravens. What is his name? Huntley? Is it Huntley?
Oh, you talking about the quarterback?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching him.
I did too.
Plays hard.
No, Ford does not have to be in a suit to get animated, Lindsay. Tim said Russell Wilson can make a bad offensive line look good, but that's why he wants out of Seattle.
Yeah.
It's because he's tired of running for his life all the time.
Russell's good in the pocket, but he makes things happen out of the pocket, not necessarily with him keeping the football, but making things spread out very quickly.
Because he always keeps his eyes on down the field. Yeah. What a concept.
Now, let me tell you something, Laney. He was a great baseball player.
Yes.
And he was a middle infielder, right? He played down here for the Grizzlies one summer. You know, people had a chance to really see his athleticism and watch how he goes about what he does and how he does it. And I think, me personally, that when people watched him play baseball, the scouting agencies, yeah, he was a major league style type player.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever know if he would have went to the majors, but he has obviously the athleticism and ability. But the way he went about what he did, I think is what has led him to be as successful as he's been in the NFL with pro football. You know, and I'll give you an example. When I was in high school, I had professional organizations, baseball-wise, coming to watch me play high school football games to see how I reacted in adversity. Now, this is before we had these.
Oh, I know.
And,
Yeah.
You know, people would call you on the phone or send.
Yeah.
The big thing was they'd send you a letter.
Yeah.
And then there would be, you know, form
that's on
to
paper
it.
and stuff.
And you're right. And then there'd be some handwritten stuff on it as well when they would send you that, these organizations, right? And what's so interesting is in the scouting world, they love to see your athleticism, but they ask three things. What type of kid is he? What does he do in practice?
You posted that last night on Facebook.
Right. And then
Parents.
how's mom and dad doing?
That is amplified today.
Well, because parents act like kids a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't want to raise. You know, when I say raise, they don't want to bring in 3 kids to the organization.
No.
They want to bring in 1 and help mold them to be the best they can be.
That's correct.
Yeah, and that's what happens.
Tim Johnson, good morning. Go get you some work there, bud. All right, we're out of here. Have a good day. Juju will be back in the morning. He said he's going to sneak off and come down with me again in the morning. Have a good day, folks. See you.